Hey, everybody, it's Jade. Thanks so much for swinging on through. Whenever you happen to be watching this, I very much appreciate it. Going to be doing a astrology prediction for the Minnesota Timberwolves versus OKC, Oklahoma City Thunder, NBA Western Conference Finals, game number 3. OKC is up 2-0. Timberwolves obviously down 0-2. It's going to be the first game of the series in Minnesota. Going to be played tonight at the Target Center. Tip-off time scheduled around 7:30 p.m. Central, probably closer to about like 7:45. The timing is so crucial in astrology. But anyway, so always kind of have that to deal with. But anyway, we make the best of it over here. But I'm also going to be going over previous prediction for game number 2, just doing a little mini recap there. And then I'm going to share the chart for tonight's game. Gonna go through that and make the prediction. So as a Timberwolves fan myself, man, they could get it together. That would be great. Because, yeah, I mean, first 2 games, not so good. But back at the home base tonight for the Wolves, back in their own den. So maybe that'll fare a little better for them. And OKC, I mean, they're kind of unstoppable at this point, so it seems. But I still think they are stoppable, which is kind of crazy. And in the last game, I mean, I'll kind of go over that a little bit more. The last game, the Timberwolves are always just kind of lingering around. Even, they were down by 20-some points. But anyway, go over that first, I guess, here. But again, thanks everybody for joining in whenever you happen to be watching this. I very much appreciate it. So, previous recap here. Let me pull that up. For the last game, Wolves and Warriors. What the heck? Okay, that's not right. Let me take that down. I edited it, but I didn't edit the team, so clearly that's a mistake. The Wolves, OKC, game 2. Let's see. So I had the Timberwolves winning by 1 point, actually, which was kind of kooky. And during the fourth quarter, there was a resurgence by the Timberwolves. They were chipping away there. They were down. Let me go to my trusty nerd notes here. So I did have the Timberwolves winning in game 2. I had them winning by 1, and the final score was 103-118. So OKC ended up winning by 15 points. It felt a little bit closer than that, but clearly 15 points. I had the Wolves winning by 1, so I was off the marker on that one, but you know what, it happens moving forward. But just some of the things that I made note of, let's see, and that I talked about in game 1, game number 2, excuse me. I did say that the Timberwolves would have a better opportunity to win the game if it would have started 7:50 p.m. Central or later. The tip-off time was 7:44, so that didn't happen. And like I was kind of saying, the Wolves tried to keep it going there. And they kept it close until kind of late in the third quarter. And then OKC ended up getting up by, it was, I think, maybe 24 points at one point in time, but it was a 20-point margin that OKC was up. And things really started to get off the rails for the Timberwolves in the third quarter. And because they were only down, and going into halftime in the last game, they were only down, I think, by the Timberwolves were only down by 6 points. And then I think coming out of the half, and then there was just, kind of a lot of sloppy play for the Timberwolves. They just couldn't really ever get it together. As a Timberwolves fan myself, I mean, Rudy Gobert not playing well. Julius Randle didn't even play the second half. And even the bench people, Naz Reid, DiVincenzo, that are normally, everybody was a little off. And there was a resurgence for the Timberwolves in the fourth quarter. I think they got it up within about 9 points at one point in time with reasonable enough time to make a comeback, but just couldn't ever get it together. But it was just they were lingering around there, but they just couldn't ever get it together. And then, of course, in the end, OKC ended up winning by 15 points, 118-103. And, I was with the placements of the last game. The moon was in Aries, and the moon, rules the people, and Aries is ruled by Mars, which is blood and war, and other things, of course, but in battles, which basketball game is a bit of a battle. And one of the referees got a bloody nose in the first quarter. So yeah, the moon was trining Mars. So that kind of was a little interesting thing that I made in my nerd notes there. And yeah, Julius Randle did not play in the second half at all. And what else did I have? So I was trying to look a little bit more at like the point spread too, like because OKC ended up winning by 15 points. So I was trying to look for that. So have some nerd notes about that for the last game. Saturn in the 10th at 29 degrees, 50 seconds. And then Uranus in the first house at 27 degrees, 35 seconds. So that's a 15-second difference between those two planets. A couple other things. Venus trine Mars. And there was a 16-second difference between those two planets, and Venus and Mars represented both the Timberwolves and Oklahoma City. So that's 15 seconds. So I was looking for things that was going to give me the point spread because I'm really still trying to get in on that. But like I kind of always talk about, so anyway, off the marker on that one for the last prediction anyway, but moving forward. And then, I just equate OKC winning to, them being ruled. I think they were ruled by Venus in the last game. I didn't write that down, but I have it over here somewhere. Let's see at the last chart. Yeah, so with OKC in the last game being ruled by Venus and Venus sextiling Jupiter, both of the benefic planets in the sky, Jupiter being the greater benefic planet, Venus representing OKC and being the lesser benefic, those two planets sextiling. Oh my gosh, people, I have so many charts. I'm looking at the wrong one for the wrong day. Venus did represent OKC. I swear I will get it together one day. All right, here we go. But yeah, with Venus representing OKC, still sextiling Jupiter. I dropped my pen. And then the moon also, that was what I was going to make mention of. The moon was also in Aries, right next to Venus, right next to OKC. Venus was still trining Mars. Both of those planets at 16 degrees, Mars being the Timberwolves. The Timberwolves were just overcome there, and obviously. And a couple other things, but finally got the right chart pulled up. I'm going to pick up my pen because it fell down. Flinging off my chair. But yeah, so those are just the things that I overlooked and that I missed because, again, I had the Timberwolves winning by 1. They clearly didn't. And in the last game, I did talk about both of the signs, Leo and Aquarius, being intercepted. So no house landed in either one of those signs. And both of the, I was talking about that more negatively for Oklahoma City. And it actually turned out to be more negative for the Timberwolves because both of their rulers, Mars and Pluto, that being the Timberwolves, Mars being in Leo, Pluto being in Aquarius, both of those signs were intercepted. So both of the planets lost a little bit of power, and I totally bypassed that. And both of those planets represented the Timberwolves in the last game. So I think those are just some of the things that I missed in the last one. But moving forward to game number 3 here. Hi, Angel. Good to see you. Thanks for joining. You had OKC winning in the last one. So you were right on that one. Appreciate you being here. Thanks so much. And yeah, you were spot on last game. You had a feeling that OKC would win, and they did. And yeah, so it happens. But as a Timberwolves fan, my gosh, So I'm going to pull up the chart for tonight, and then I'm going to go through it. It's a little similar because every game in this series is about around the same time, 7:30, 7:45-ish Central Time, depending if it's in Minneapolis or Oklahoma City, both in the Central Time. So, the charts are kind of looking a little similar, but charts change so much, even within, minutes, things like that. So, got to look for these little delicate changes here. Because both of the planets Venus and Mars and Pluto are going to be ruling the teams tonight, like they have been. And we do have a new moon coming up on Monday, too. New beginning. That's when the sun and the moon collide together in the sky. It's going to be in the sign of Gemini, the twins, the duality, double-bodied, mutable sign of Gemini, ruled by Mercury, our communication planet. But yeah, Gemini, there's two sides because there's the twins. So anyway, I'm going to share the chart and get going on tonight's game. So cheers, everybody. Thanks again for being here. Going to take a sip of water. All right. You're going to have to pick OKC tonight, unfortunately. Ugh. Yeah. So, this chart, I have looked at it quite a bit, and this is one of the charts I feel like I maybe have looked too much. When you're like, I've looked at it too much. But I'm gonna pull it up here, and then I'm gonna share my thoughts about it too. I could definitely see that happening though, and the shitty part about it, in my opinion, as a Timberwolves fan, again, as an astrologer, I can't have any feeling in it. I have to do it kind of cut and dry, right? Like black and white. When I read the chart, I can't have any allegiance to either side. So I gotta put my Timberwolves fandom to the side. But man, as a Timberwolves fan, I'm a little bit worried that there might be a sweep at stakes here. And not good for the Timberwolves, all right? So, oh man, for the Timberwolves in the last series with, or was it with the Lakers? Shit, I can't remember now. That's my key word, my key swear word, I think, on the channel today. I try not to swear in here. Well, I can't remember now. I'd have to look back in my nerd notes to see, but it was either versus the Warriors or versus the Lakers. I think it was the Lakers. Yeah. But the Timberwolves closed, maybe it was the last series, whatever. But there was a full moon. It must have been 2 weeks ago. Full moon, and the moon was working in the Timberwolves' favor, and I mean they closed out the last two series 4-1, which was pretty close to a sweep, not quite, but and I think it was just this last series. Anyway, they were playing with an upcoming full moon, with a completion. Full moons are completions, ending of things. And they had the support of the moon. So I was talking about that and, how the Timberwolves could really close it out, end things for the other team. And I think must have been OKC. Anyway, whatever. And then that did come to fruition. So now with the new moon coming up here on Monday, it's more like with the new moon, there's new beginnings, new opportunities for things. And OKC is a very young team, right? And this is a new opportunity for them to go to the NBA Finals and potentially win here. And they've, both teams have been playing with the moon, but because the moon, she's the co-ruler of every single chart. With the way things have been going, and with, OKC kind of in the spot where the Timberwolves were with the full moon, OKC now finds them in, the same position with the new moon that's coming up in Gemini on Monday. New beginnings, fresh start. Monday is game 4 of this series. If obviously with OKC being up 2-0, if they win tonight, game number 4 is on Monday, the day of the new moon. A new beginning for them, a younger team, obviously things that are new, younger, right? So putting all of that together, and, I was really looking at that more heavily because here's the chart for tonight's game, obviously, that I shared. And the moon is at 4 degrees of Taurus, around 7:40 Central Time. That's the time that I'm picking for the tip-off of this game. Since I don't know the exact time, I'm just going to guess it's probably going to be past that a couple of minutes. The last one was 7:44, so I'm going to go with about 7:40. And nothing huge changes within a couple minutes here or there, so I'm just going to go with 7:40 Minneapolis time. And, go from there, do the best I can. But with the moon at 4 degrees of Taurus, now the moon is exalted in Taurus. She likes being in Taurus. She does well there. The new moon coming up. So right now, it's like tying up loose ends of the last, full moon, which the Timberwolves ended things for the other team and they moved forward, tying things up. Now it's tying things up to get started for the new moon. So that could play out like, okay, we're building up again. Okay, see, you win one tonight. You go into Monday night, the day of the new moon, night of the new moon, a new beginning. You sweep the Timberwolves 4-0. New beginning, fresh start. You're on to the next one. You're on to the finals. Now, on the flip side, could that work out in the Timberwolves' favor with a new beginning for the Timberwolves? They win tonight. They win game 4 on Monday night, and they continue. Then it's tied up, and we continue, obviously, to game 5, potentially 6, 7. Well, right, it would have to be 6, right? But I don't necessarily like it so much for the Timberwolves because tonight they have the moon in their 12th house of what's hidden away from them, hidden enemies. So, and for OKC, they have the moon in the 2nd house from their 1st house of games or sports or recreation as a game. The 2nd house is what we own, like what our material items, our money. So, and with the moon being in the Timberwolves' 12th house and the new moon coming up and everything that I was just kind of getting at there, there is a potential, I think, for Oklahoma City to win tonight and potentially win Monday and sweep the Timberwolves. Ta-ta. See you later. Sayonara. But now, I'm going to get in the chart here. So, for tonight's. So with all of that prefaced on like a little silver platter as like an appetizer here. So for tonight. But I was thinking about that more because I'm still not sure right now. So I have to do a live pick. But I have looked at this quite a bit. So for tonight, for the 3rd time, let me say that. Okay. I'm going to start with the Timberwolves. They're the home team. They're ruled by Venus because their sign that rules their 1st house is Taurus. Taurus is ruled by Venus. Venus has been in Aries for a while. Venus is at 18 degrees of Aries tonight. The moon, co-ruler of the chart. I'm going to look and see what the moon and Venus, i.e. the Timberwolves, are doing. They're not doing anything with one another. The only thing that I like for the Timberwolves here is that Venus rules Taurus and the moon is in Taurus. So the lord of the moon is Venus, which is the Timberwolves. And the moon, again, co-rules the chart, and it rules the people, the fans. And with the moon being in the Timberwolves' 12th house of what's hidden away from them, isolation, endings, could this game get out of hand for the Timberwolves? OKC win again. The Timberwolves fan that's tough being down 3-0. It's already tough being down 2-0 for the Timberwolves. And then OKC potentially coming into your home base and going up 3-0, being 1 game away from the finals. Ugh. But for the Timberwolves, I do like the fact that the moon is in Taurus. Taurus is ruled by Venus, and Venus is the Timberwolves tonight. But I don't like that it's in the 12th house for them. So for the Timberwolves, their 5th house of how they play their game tonight is represented by Libra, and Libra is also ruled by Venus. So both Venus rules both the Timberwolves and how they play their game tonight. Now, Venus is still trining Mars, and Mars is one of the planets that represents the thunder tonight. Now, Venus is moving away from that, though. But for the Timberwolves, all right, that's not bad. That's good. That's favorable. And another thing that is in the Timberwolves' fifth house of their game is this circle with an X in it. It's the part of fortune. Now, the part of fortune you can look to, or I tend to try to look to if I don't see a clear-cut winner. I don't necessarily always look at the part of fortune, but when it's just not like I just can't see it, I'm missing something here, I just cannot determine, then I will definitely look at the part of fortune and see what the part of fortune is doing with the planets that rule each team. Now, for the Timberwolves, the part of fortune is in their fifth house of games. Obviously, this is a very important game. You're already down 2-0, potential to go down 3-0, one game away from just being done and out, obviously. And Venus, the Timberwolves, is opposing the part of fortune. And opposition is usually not positive when looking at game charts. And it can be positive with certain planets, like Venus and Jupiter opposing each other, but part of fortune and it's like they're far away from one another. Like it's like the Timberwolves are like checked out or something, or they're not totally there, and they really haven't been. Like there's been little glimmers and like a little bit of hope, sprinkled in there. Like they got within like 9 after being down by like plus 20 the last game, but it's just like, they just can't get there. Like they're just on the opposite end of where they should be and how they should be playing. They're being outplayed. They have been outplayed. They just can't get it together. And for the Timberwolves, their 10th house of their career and how they show up to the public is represented by Pisces. So we're going to look at Jupiter, the traditional ruler of Pisces, and then Neptune, the modern day ruler of Pisces, and what those two planets are doing with the Timberwolves' Venus and also the moon. So the moon and Jupiter not doing anything. The moon and Neptune not doing anything. Venus and Jupiter, the Timberwolves are going to have the fan support tonight. Jupiter is a co-ruler of the fans, the crowd tonight. Jupiter has been in Gemini, and Jupiter doesn't feel good in Gemini. It's in its detriment there. But the fans are going to be there. And if the Timberwolves can keep it close, this is nothing that's not obvious, but it plays out in the chart too. Like if the Timberwolves fans keep it, or the Timberwolves fans are, again, going to be excited. They're going to be there. They have to, help the team. They got to cheer them on. Otherwise, they don't have anything. It's back at home. So they don't want to see their team down 3-0. Obviously, they want to see things continue. If the Timberwolves can hang in there, keep it close, they're going to have the support. However, since Jupiter is in its detriment in Gemini, it rules the 10th house for the Timberwolves. If things go sour, that crowd's going to get quiet. It obviously, right? Their excitement, their cheering, they're roaring, they're filling up the arena with the cheering. That's going to be kind of squashed a little bit. And for the Timberwolves, they also have Saturn, which can slow things down. It is squaring Jupiter. About an hour after this game, Saturn is actually going to shift into the sign of Aries. So any planet at 29 degrees of a sign is in its final countdown, the final things ending up here. And, a couple of the things with Saturn kind of remind me of OKC a little bit. They've kind of been, wearing their actor hats, drawing fouls, falling on the ground. Oh, I'm 5 fouled. And they've been getting them. And they've been kind of cheating, and let's use air quotes, cheating, and kind of, doing whatever they can to get the call and have it go their way. That's kind of Saturn energy a little bit. And Saturn being in the Timberwolves' 10th house of their career, no. And how they show out tonight, could they experience that yet again tonight? And Neptune, the other ruler of the Timberwolves' 10th house, is at 1 degrees of Aries. It's not doing anything with the moon. It's not doing anything with Venus. And it's not doing anything with Jupiter. So the Timberwolves, they got their hands full. I mean, they already do because they're down 0-2. And for the Timberwolves, they also have Uranus, Mercury, and the Sun in their first house of themselves. Mercury and Uranus are both at 27 degrees of Taurus. Those two planets are conjunct each other. Mercury is the communication planet. Mercury rules the Timberwolves' fourth house of their arena. And Uranus is erratic energy. It's spontaneous. It doesn't want to follow the traditional path. It's innovative. It can be surprising energy, but it moves slowly. So it's like things are kind of not quite bubbling under the surface. I would equate that more with the planet Pluto, but it's kind of like building up. It's it's like I won't say like a pressure cooker, but over time, and then finally it'll be like whoo. But it builds up. But it's not stable energy. And Uranus is the modern day ruler of Aquarius, and Pluto finds itself in Aquarius. Pluto is one of the rulers of OKC tonight. So it's like they're right in the Timberwolves, right on them. Mercury, again, for the Timberwolves, rules their arena, their fourth house of home. Fans are going to be there. They might be a little erratic tonight, extra crazy, extra howly tonight. They got to be. It's like they got to pull out all the stops. And Mercury also rules the Timberwolves' second house of what they own. And the Sun is also there in the Timberwolves' first house. And the Sun is the lord of Mars. And Mars is OKC tonight. So both Pluto and Mars, the two planets that rule OKC tonight, both have their lords in the Timberwolves' first house. The Lord is the planet that rules the sign the other planet is in. So it kind of does its bidding in a sense. So Mars, i.e. OKC, is in Leo. Leo is ruled by the sun. So the Lord of the moon, Mars is the sun. And then for Pluto is in Aquarius. Modern day ruler of Aquarius is Uranus. Also right in the Timberwolves, first house there. Now, for OKC, their fifth house of how they play their game tonight is ruled by Mars, because Aries rules OKC's fifth house. Mars also rules OKC. Pluto is the co-ruler of OKC tonight. Pluto is retrograde. It's the planet of destruction. And it's trining the sun, which is a big player in the co-pilot of the new moon coming up on Monday. An opportunity for OKC to win game 4 if they win tonight and sweep the Timberwolves. The sun and Pluto are in good energy with each other. And the sun, again, also the lord of Mars. Mars is the ruler of OKC tonight. It's like OKC is right there. It's like Timberwolves, they're onto you. Like I don't see them slowing down. Why would they? Obviously, they want to go up 3-0. They want to go for the sweep. They are a young team. They have energy, they have ambition, and they have drive. And two players, Chet Holmgren and I forget the other player on OKC, they were both born in Minnesota. They grew up playing basketball. One of them was born in Minneapolis. The other was born in St. Paul. This is a homecoming for them, in a sense, too, even though they're on the opposing team. So, yeah, Cheyenne says thunder up. There you go. Yeah, I mean, they've been really dominating here in this series, clearly. So it's just like, yeah, the Timberwolves haven't been able to keep up with them. Thanks for stopping by in your comment, Cheyenne. Appreciate it. May the best team win. But yeah, and for those, I forget who it is. I should look on their roster. Who is it? No, it's not Jalen Williams. Let's see. Who is it? No. Well, Chet Holmgren is from Minneapolis, and I forget who is there other player that's from St. Paul. I don't know. Well, anyway, but so for OKC, also in their fifth house is the Timberwolves. Venus is right there. All right. And Venus and Mars are still trining one another. It's like Venus is at 18 degrees and Mars, OKC is at 17 degrees. And a trine is when two planets are 120 degrees apart from one another, both in the sign that has the same element. Aries and Leo are both fire signs. It's kind of like Venus, the Timberwolves are running away from Mars. Like they're like, we're trying to get away from you. We're trying to overcome you here. And, Mars, which again is the main ruler of OKC tonight, there's ambition and drive there. There's this competitive, bold, courageous nature of Mars. And it's like they're on them. So for OKC, they're also dealing with Chiron, the wounded healer, in their fifth house. So, and Chiron's been in the fifth house of games for each team these last couple of games because Chiron's been in Aries for a while. And, that could be part of the explanation for one of the referees getting a bloody nose during the last one, with Chiron, the wounded healer, a wound, obviously. In Aries, Aries is ruled by Mars. Mars rules blood, accidents, cutting, things like that. So, things of that nature. The moon was also in Aries in the last game, and the moon rules the people. And, the referees are a very public part of the game, too. So that could have been part of what was at play there with the ref getting the bloody nose in game 2. So OKC does have to deal with that. And then for Oklahoma City, the moon is actually in bad communication with both Pluto and Mars. Again, the two planets that rule OKC tonight. The moon is squaring Pluto, this thick red line here, 90 degrees apart. There's tension there. There's energy there for sure with the square, but it's hard. It's rough. Things don't come easy there with the square, but there is focus there though. So, and then also the next line of communication that the moon is going to make is going to be a square to Mars. It's not going to be during this game, but that is what's going to be happening. And again, not easy. And Mars is the co-ruler of OKC, but I just can't ignore this moon, this balsamic moon that we have here, which is a wrapping up of the previous cycle that we had to get ready for the new moon, new beginning, fresh start, which is on Monday. And it's in the Timberwolves' 12th house of what's hidden away from them. But it's not supporting OKC. The only way it's supporting OKC is that it's in OKC's second house away from their fifth house of games. So it's like their game, is ruled by the fifth house. Venus, the Timberwolves are there. And then the moon is in the second house of what that game earns and what that game owns. And the moon is there. So could that come to fruition here tonight with OKC potentially getting the win, even though the moon is squaring Pluto, i.e. the Thunder, and it will next square Mars. Not during this game, but Mars is, again, the main ruler of the Thunder tonight. So we shall see. And then for OKC, their 10th house of their career, their public reputation, their kind of legacy, it's the most public point of a chart, is ruled by Virgo, and Virgo is ruled by Mercury. Now, looky. What else is in the Timberwolves' first house? Mercury. So both of the lords of the two planets for OKC are in the Timberwolves' first house. Like, we're on your ass. Like, the Thunder are on you. Okay, they're gonna make you howl the night wolves. It's gonna be cracking in the sky. Okay, boom, making loud noises, scaring you. Okay, making you want to howl, and it's right on top of Uranus again. This like erratic, spontaneous energy, and Mercury is not doing anything though with Pluto or with Mars. It's also not doing anything with the moon, but man, is it there. So that I look at like OKC has an opportunity to use the Timberwolves to win this series in a sweep, to use them as like an advantage for their reputation as like, we just swept the Minnesota Timberwolves 4-0. And they just took out, the Timberwolves had taken out the Lakers 4-1 and the Warriors 4-1, even though without Steph Curry in. I mean, this is OKC speaking here. We took them down 4-0. So both of these two teams, the Timberwolves and the Thunder, like, they both of their planets don't really have like a lot of extra support, really. So it's hard for me to be like, because with the moon squaring both Mars and Pluto, like, I do not like that for OKC at all. But I also don't like the moon being in the Timberwolves' 12th house of what's hidden away from them. Hidden enemies, isolation, endings, things you can't see. Like kind of some mental like turmoil. And with the Sun, Mercury, and Uranus right in the Timberwolves' first house there, I mean, they will, have the support of the crowd, but all of these three planets or two planets in the Sun are lords and doing the bidding of OKC. So when I read charts normally, the moon again is the co-ruler. So whatever lines of communication she's making, positive or negative, is usually one of the other big things that you look at. And the moon is squaring Pluto and Mars. But other than the Timberwolves, i.e. Venus, working towards a sextile to Jupiter, and the Lord of the Moon being Venus, i.e. the Timberwolves, and Venus is trining Mars. Mars rules, again, OKC. It does rule the Timberwolves' 11th house of their community, like hopes and wishes, kind of dreams coming true. So, I mean, they got that going for them. So this is just a hard one, people. And that's why I was focusing so hard on the new moon coming up. Like, who is that going to benefit? Is it going to be the new moon, fresh start, fresh new series for OKC, and they are going to sweep the Timberwolves on Monday when the new moon is, winning tonight and, obviously winning Monday? Or is it going to be for the Timberwolves tonight? They got the moon, they have the sun, the co-pilot of the new moon, right in their first house of themselves. The sun is also the ruler, one of the main rulers of Anthony Edwards, because Anthony Edwards is a Leo. Leo is ruled by the sun. The sun is trining Pluto, kind of overcoming OKC. How is this Mercury and Uranus going to play out for the Timberwolves? Mercury, communication. Uranus, erratic energy. Mercury ruling the Timberwolves' 4th house of their arena. Uranus not ruling any of the houses, but is a lord of Pluto, one of the planets that rule OKC. Could one of the Oklahoma City Thunder players and one of the Timberwolves players like get into it, obviously in the home arena of the Timberwolves, or potentially with one of the fans? Something like that. Because again, this Uranus energy, this erratic behavior, potentially. Mercury, how we communicate, how we speak. Look out for that. And it could have come from the Timberwolves themselves because it is right there. These are things just to potentially look out for, like what could come to fruition. For OKC, the main thing that is keeping me from just straight out saying that OKC is going to win game 3 tonight is the fact that the moon is squaring Pluto, the Thunder, and will then next square Mars, which again is the Thunder. So it's just like, it's one of those games where it's like, I have to pick, I have to decide, I have to, like, what is it? Hey, Ryan, always good to see you. The biggest things the Wolves have to stop is putting unnecessary threes. Yes, stupid turnovers. Stop letting SGA do whatever he wants, and that includes fouls. Exactly. It's really good to see you, Ryan. Hope all is well. I agree. Yeah. And again, as a Timberwolves fan myself, it's just like, so taking off the astrologer hat here and just talking as a Timberwolves fan, it's super frustrating to see the stupid threes. I get it. They've been good, but when you're not hitting them, set up a play because it is so obvious to me what has been working for them is driving to the hoop, driving to the basket. Not, I get it. You want to shoot the threes. It's fun to shoot the threes. It's cool to get the threes, get the extra point. La, la, la. We all want the threes, but that is not what has been working. What has been working is driving to the basket, setting up screens. You know, especially, and like Julius Randle, I mean, Coach Finch, you do what you want. I have a little crush on Coach Finch, actually, Chris Finch. But do what you want. But it's just like, Rudy has not been playing there. Something's extra off there. I've never been super, super confident with Rudy Gobert. You know, he's got little flashes here and there, but I just think overall, like, he could be doing so much more. And he does have kind of some, like, you know, stuff going on off the court or whatever. Everybody kind of has their own shit, but it, you know, maybe that's what's getting to him. But I think he was out there way too much, way too long. You know, Julius Randle has been playing really, really well. He didn't play at all during the second half. And, you know, that's the coach's decision to do that. He clearly, obviously had the best people he thought were, you know, that were playing out on the court. And, you know, Anthony Edwards, he can carry a team, but it's like, can you carry it that much? Because Anthony Edwards is a young guy too. What is he at, like 22, 23? OKC, all of their players in their early 20s too. But, you know, for the Timberwolves, they're a little older. Not saying that they can't keep up, but it's like they have to get on that kind of level for a while. Like Anthony Edwards can't be the only one on that level. So, and again, there were just like little glimmers of hope, but just kind of, yes, and stupid turnovers too, like you were saying, Ryan. You know, it's just kind of sloppy playing. You know, just sloppy. I don't know if the season's getting to them. Like they're literally like tuckered out and tired, or what it is. And but yeah, it's just been a little sloppy. So it's just been a little disappointing as a Timberwolves fan, I guess. And again, even in that last game, it was just like in the fourth quarter, I just was like, okay, is this where we're going to see it now? Because again, in the last prediction, I had the Wolves winning by 1. And I was just like, okay, they like cut the deficit. Like, is this the turning point here? Is this what we're going to see now? They are going to actually come back and win it by 1 or like really, really close. But just couldn't, you know, it was okay. See, it was just too much for them. Too much for them. You know, they'd get a basket, you know, you give an inch, they took a mile, you know, type of thing. But like you get a basket, all right, they're going to go back and then get a 3, something like that, you know, and just, yeah. And then with the penalties and the fouling, OKC, again, I do believe they're going for the Oscar over there. All right. They want that gold statue. They want it. You barely hit me. I'm going to fall down and roll on the floor all over the place. Oh, that was a foul, you know? So, excuse me. But so that, I think that happened a little bit more in game 1 where I was like, really? Okay. Yeah, we got a lot of Oscar nominations going out here. So not so much in game 2, but I mean, still kind of there, but So back to the game tonight. Again, the thing that is like that should be my helper here. And I missed things. Not perfect. Obviously, got the last one wrong, right? I was on a good roll there, though, But astrology is a way of humbling you. You think you're good. You think you know what you're talking about. No. But hey, that's all right. So for tonight, I also wonder if Ant is hurt more than they are letting on. That's an interesting little nugget there, Ryan. And with Ant in particular, I have been talking about this here the last couple of weeks or so. So let me just make mention of it really quick again here. Is that Mars is at 17 degrees of Leo. So it's right in the middle of Leo here. Each sign is 30 degrees. So Anthony Edwards, his sun sign, when he was born, the sun, which represents who we are at our core, the sun was right around where Mars is right now. So transiting Mars is very, very close to Anthony Edwards' sun sign. And Mars is the lesser malefic planet. Mars can be hot. It can be touchy. It can be hard to deal with. It can be kind of a meanie. He can be kind of a bully. There is, rage, anger, frustration I would equate more with Saturn, with a greater benefic. But Mars, you want to speed up and you want to do things, and Anthony Edwards is trying to do that, but it's like he can't keep up. And and depending on if Anthony Edwards was born during the day or the night, if he was born during the daytime, Mars being so close to his sun sign, who he is at his core, and I don't know him personally, obviously, but what he seems like at his core, he wants to win. He wants to be in the spotlight. He is confident being a star, being a leader, and that's Leo energy. And Leo's rules the heart too. That fire, that drive within you, that pumps you, that keeps you going. So if Anthony Edwards was born at nighttime and Mars is right near his sun sign, that's going to be less challenging. That would translate instead of Mars's rage and anger as more fuel. This fire to win, this drive, this motivation to want to get there. So it'd be interesting I should look it up because I keep talking about it. So I should see if I could find it. But yeah, and maybe with him being potentially hurt more than they're letting on, with him not maybe playing at full capacity, and maybe he was born during the day. So as Mars is right close to his sun sign, that could be, kind of negatively affecting. And funny enough, Mars, again, is the ruler of OKC tonight. So, yeah, that's a good point, Ryan. Definitely. And, all right. So, for the winner of the game tonight, let me see what time it is. It's 6:53. Okay. All right. So, my prediction box over here, I have blank. I have prediction / and I took the Wolves winning by 1 point out because that was from the last game. Man, for the Timberwolves, oh man, I am just concerned about this. Again, the moon is in the balsamic phase. We're wrapping things up here. Getting ready for the new moon on Monday. Fresh start. And the moon is in the Timberwolves' 12th house of what's hidden away from them. Could it be what's hidden is they're going to lose tonight and then lose Monday too, and then just be done? And it's a new, fresh start for OKC. But the moon is not supporting OKC tonight. But all of the lords that are important, the sun, Mercury, Uranus, are all in the Timberwolves' first house of themselves. We are on your ass here. The Thunder are in town. The storms are coming. All right, get your den, Timberwolves. It's going to downpour on you. And with these three supporting Pluto, which is the co-ruler for OKC tonight. And for OKC, their 5th house of games is ruled by Mars. The 2nd house from their 5th house rules what that game will earn, what it owns. The moon is there. That is ruled by Venus. Venus and Mars are in good harmony with one another. Now on the flip side for the Timberwolves, for them, same 2 planets. Their 5th house is ruled by Venus. What they earn from their game is ruled by Mars, but also Pluto. So, Pluto and Venus are not doing anything with one another. Venus and Mars are, yes. So could that be another potential negative for the Timberwolves? Another potential negative for the Timberwolves, Venus, the Timberwolves, is opposite the part of fortune, which is something that it's an Arabic lot you can look at when you're looking at, predictions and elections and things like that. Again, at the beginning of this video, I said I tend to look at that when I'm not sure. I just can't pinpoint. It's like extra hard. Totally sounded Midwestern there, but, bear with me. It's opposite. So, and the part of fortune is supporting Mars, which is OKC. Those 2 are sextile one another. And for OKC, another thing that I like for them is that the moon is in Taurus. The moon, again, feels comfortable in Taurus. She loves being there. She does well there. She's exalted there. And for OKC, the moon is the ruler of long distance travel for them. Now, Oklahoma City to Minneapolis, it's not like super, super far. It's not across the globe, but it's not right down the street. So that's a longer distance of travel. Mars, i.e. OKC, finds themselves in the 9th house of long distance travel. People, I just think that the Sun, Mercury, Uranus in the Timberwolves' 1st house, and all of these 3 representing something, doing the bidding for Oklahoma City kind of in a bigger fashion. I mean, Mercury, again, rules the Timberwolves arena. The fans are going to be erratic. They got to show out tonight. They are going to try to be as loud as possible to mess up OKC in any way, shape, form they can. They're going to be howling. Okay. The sun is there, and it's the Lord of Mars, so it's like doing OKC's bidding. Uranus is the Lord of Pluto, doing the bidding of Pluto, which again is the co-ruler of OKC tonight. It's erratic, unstable energy. It might just be too much for the Timberwolves. I mean, if I was OKC, I would, if I was their astrologer, I would say go at them even harder than you have been. Ignore the noise. It is just noise. Ignore it. Ignore it. For OKC, they got a couple people coming back home. They're playing probably in front of a lot of their friends and family members because they're from Minnesota. And for Minnesota, if I was their astrologer, I would heavily suggest you stay grounded, you stay stable, you stay focused. Focus. Do not, I mean, easy for me to say, but I mean, just with like Venus trying to get away from Mars, and with Uranus, Mercury, the sun, right in the Timberwolves, like 1st house of self, use the fans to your advantage. Use that momentum to your advantage. Watch your back. Watch your ass. Okay? Play the game that you know. Stick with what you know. Stick with something tried and true. Stable energy. Stay grounded. Play with fire. Play with speed. Play fast, but stay grounded. Stay level-headed. I think OKC might take this one again. And, again, I was wrong on the last one, so we'll see. I'm saying it because of all the things I've already explained, so I don't have to keep beating a dead horse here, or, I should find a better phrase. But anyway, so um hmm, I'm gonna it's just like for both of these, there's some stuff in there. The moon is just really messing with me here because the moon is squaring both of the planets that rule OKC. And normally I'd be like, no way that team is winning then. The moon is not supporting you. The moon is not supporting you at all. And she's the co-ruler of the chart. But she's in a hard place for the Timberwolves. And all right, I'm going to pick OKC to win game 3 by let's see. 20 points. Hope not 20. At least for the Timberwolves. So what I'm looking at here, instead of just staring at it, again, I say this every time. What's the trigger for the points here? Like, what is it? Because when I went through the notes and I looked at the chart for game number 2, and OKC won by 15. Had Wolves winning by 1. So again, it was looking for things. And the things that stuck out was not the degrees that the planets were away from each other, but the seconds, the difference between the seconds. So it's like, am I supposed to? Should I look at the seconds of the planets? Like, Pluto is at 3 degrees and 43 seconds Aquarius in good communication with the sun. The sun is at 4 degrees of Gemini in 4 seconds. I mean, that's a 39 point difference there, 39 second difference. And then with the moon, she's at 4 degrees, 23 seconds of Taurus. So, and then one good thing for OKC is the part of fortune and Mars are in good communication with one another. Mars is at 17 degrees. Part of fortune is at 22 degrees. That's 4 degree difference. 4-point margin. And again, back to the 20-point thing over here 39. Between Pluto and the sun. Ugh. And, a negative 17 and 22, that's 5. Math is hard. Okay, that's 5. And another thing where I'm going to go with like 4 to 5 points is that Venus is in opposition with the part of fortune, i.e. Venus is the Timberwolves, 18 degrees, 22 degrees, 22 minus 18 is 4, I think. So there could be that too. 4 to 5 points. All right. And it's just like, let me get my freaking calculator out here too. So part of fortune at 52 seconds. Venus at 24. That's 28. Oh, man. Shoot. 29. Man, I hope for the Timberwolves' sake it's not that big a margin, but... And, okay, so... And again, this is a hard one. This is a hard one for me. And so I'm going to take OKC by 4 to 5 points. And now when I say it, I'm like, wrong, but I got to stick with it. I can just keep going and going and going. I mean, how long have I been? I've been on an hour now. Okay. So, all right, that's enough. I mean, is it though? I could just keep going. I mean, myself personally. And as the game goes on, I will look back to this. After the game is over, I go back and look, especially when I'm wrong. I'm like, what did I miss? What was it? What was it? And when I'm right too, I'm like, what was it? Yeah, and I will say that if OKC wins tonight, and this isn't really like, oh wow, this is breaking huge news here or bold prediction. If OKC does win tonight, I do expect them to get the sweep and to definitely win Monday. With the new moon coming up, with the balsamic moon right now, just kind of how things are aligning with the moon potentially, with the moon in the Timberwolves' 12th house of their hidden enemies, what's hidden away from them. Ow. Okay, I just went to grab my water and I burned my finger. Because I have it on a mug warmer because I like kind of warmer water. And my finger just hit the hot plate. I mean, the hot plate's not on, or the mug warmer's not on, but shit, that was a little spicy. But you know what? I'm going to blame for that just a little bit of my personal astrology. The Mars, which can be Burns, is right really close to my ascendant, or it's in my first house of like my physical body, myself. So no wonder. I feel like I burned myself with my like curling iron too recently. Knock on wood, I hope it doesn't happen, but that's what I'm blaming that on. And also, the moon is going to square Mars, which is tension. Okay, not good communication. So the moon is the co-ruler of all things. So zip. I better be careful later too. And I mean, whatever. And Mars also rules sharp objects and knives and cutting. And I was cutting an avocado the other day and I'm just very lucky that nothing happened, but it came very close to slicing my finger. I would have sliced my finger very, very bad. And I don't need to do that again. And the last time that Mars was in a not so favorable place with my ascendant, Leo, my first house of myself, my body, I literally I damaged my pinky. Like I fully severed it to where it's like there's still like neuropathy here now. I probably should have went and got stitches. There was blood everywhere. Mars rules blood and cutting, and not good. So be careful, people. And I'm an adult. I should know how to, use knives and sharp objects, but just kind of an example of how that could potentially transpire. So anyway, and Mars, I'm a night chart, so Mars isn't even my most mean planet, So anyway. Hi, James. How are you doing? It's good to see you. Good luck to the Timberwolves tonight. I'm sure you'll be all right. Yeah, no, I'll be fine. Yeah, good luck to the Timberwolves tonight for sure. And, I am picking OKC to win this one. It pains me as a Timberwolves fan to do so. But again, when I do the charts, I can't let the fandom get in the way. I can't. But on the flip side, if the Timberwolves do win tonight, I do think it will be because Venus, which is the Timberwolves tonight, is still in good position to kind of try to overcome Mars, which is OKC. And for the Timberwolves, the moon being in Taurus, even though it is in their 12th house of what's hidden away from them, the moon is kind of co-ruled, or again, the lord of the moon is the Timberwolves themselves, is Venus. And for the Timberwolves, again, if they are to win tonight, definitely I think the crowd will be key. Them being loud, rambunctious, annoying to the Thunder, just extra. Make it, be howling, all right? Have the howls overcome the Thunder, all right? Be louder than the Thunder. And I think that will be because Venus is working to sextile Jupiter. Venus and Jupiter. Venus, again, being the Timberwolves. Jupiter, the co-ruler of the Timberwolves' 10th house of their public reputation, how they show out tonight. And so if the Timberwolves do win, it could be potentially because of those things. And instead of the Sun, Mercury, and Uranus being in the Timberwolves' first house acting negatively and doing the bidding for OKC, the Sun, Mercury, and Uranus being in the Timberwolves' first house could be them overcoming that and taking control, that being the Timberwolves, taking control of the situation. Okay, OKC, you're not running the board anymore. Okay, we're going to take the microphone away now. Thank you. So, but again, this one was a hard one for me. So and if OKC, just to add, just keep going here, if OKC does lose, I do also think it will be because of the moon squaring Pluto, the co-ruler of OKC tonight. Square is not, that's not good. That's uncomfy. Okay. And then the moon, the next thing the moon's going to do is square Mars, and Mars, main ruler of OKC. But I don't know, just a couple other things, and yeah, there could be planetary things or whatever that's causing me to miss a lot of things, miss something that's like straight out in front of my face that has happened before. But, and just to add on for OKC, and then I'm going to wrap it up here. But again, James, thanks for coming in. Always good to see you. To wrap it up here, another thing potentially for OKC, even though it's not going to happen during the game, it's going to be just right after the game is over. Saturn is going to make a big shift and go and go from 29 degrees of Pisces. It's going to go into the into the sign of Aries. Saturn is the greater malefic planet, the great karmic teacher, Father Time, karmic energy with Saturn. Do it right. Do it over and over and over again until you do it right. But again, a thing that I recently read about Saturn where I'm like, okay, is if you lie, cheat, and steal and you don't get caught, all right, that's some Saturn energy there. And for the Timberwolves, that's in their 10th house of their career, their reputation. And Saturn can bring delays and blockages. And with Saturn going into Aries later this evening, if not early in the morning, depending on where you live, but very, very soon here, within a few hours, Aries is ruled by Mars. Mars is the ruler of OKC tonight. Saturn is also legacy, longevity. Aries is a cardinal sign. It's initiator of change, bold, courageous energy, taking action. It's young energy. Aries has a perpetual age of 0 to 7. OKC is a young team. And I think, too, for OKC, like, if they were to win tonight, potentially sweep the Timberwolves, and then potentially make the finals, is this all building up in momentum to be this young team that could potentially win the NBA Finals? And then I think they have, like, an insane amount of draft picks, of, like, first-round draft picks coming up, setting the stage, for longevity here. And for the Timberwolves, could that be, all right, their time, this season's done for them, closing a door for them? But we'll see what pans out. We'll see what happens. But as a Timberwolves fan, oh, man, I would love them to get it together and take charge. And it just, it just kind of seems like they've been a little off. And it just, like, not quite fully engaged. And that could be because they're being outplayed. Are they legit just tuckered out and tired? All right? There's a little bit of a funk there. All right? There's a funk in the den. Okay? But can the Timberwolves use this to their advantage? We will see. We will see. But let's see. I'm going to wrap it up here now and go. It's about 7:14. So almost quarter after 7 Central Time. Game's probably going to start in about a half hour. But And two, if this game starts like, at like 8 p.m. or something like that, well, the chart will change a little bit. But, and yeah, I hope the fans can come in clutch tonight. I really, really hope that they do. I mean, yeah, if this game starts at 8 o'clock, that would be far more beneficial for the Timberwolves, okay? The moon would move out of their 12th house of what's hidden away from them. Yeah, I mean, if the game starts at like, I mean, I would almost be so bold as to say, like, if the game started at like 7:56, 7:57 or 7:58 or later Central, I would actually choose maybe the Timberwolves. I would actually choose, I think, the Timberwolves to win, because the moon would move out of their 12th house of what's hidden away from them, and it would move into their 11th house of their hopes, dreams, wishes, and aspirations. The moon would still be squaring Pluto and Mars. So yeah, if this game starts at 7:58 or after, I would pick the Timberwolves to win. I don't think that the game will start that late, but I'm just throwing that out there too at the end here because of that shift with the moon moving. And I'm looking at the chart. I forgot I'm not sharing it with you guys anymore, but do. Anyway, I'll just share it here quick. All right. And then I'm going to go. Because I'm hungry. I'm going to make something to eat. And then, tip-off time coming up. But, so 7:58. So if you look a little bit at the moon right down here, kind of hard to see because it's a little smaller, but she's just slowly moving, by this line, inside this line here. So at 7:58, she moves on the other side of that line, which moves out of the Timberwolves' 12th house, which I would just love for them if that were the case. Because then, I would pick them to win. But I don't think it's going to be that late. But you never know. You never know. So I'm just going to say that right now. The game starts before that. OKC to win, 4 to 5 points. See what pans out. If the game starts later, 7:58 or later, I think Timberwolves might win. But, we'll see. So game 4, Monday night. I do plan on doing the astrology prediction for that one, too. Not sure the time yet, but that I'm going to be doing it. Maybe around this time, otherwise maybe in the morning. But I'll try to put the little video up earlier, the little reminder up early. But it would be great if everybody stopped by. Thanks, everybody, again, for stopping by tonight or whenever you happen to be watching this. I really appreciate it, or whatever time it is, wherever you are on the globe, on the planet. I really appreciate everybody. Thanks so much. And maybe see you Monday for Game 4. As a Timberwolves fan, man, I hope OKC is not going for the sweep. But as an astrologer, I mean, it's a mixed bag because I picked OKC to win tonight. But I'll talk to all about that. But we'll see what pans out. I'll have my nerd notes handy, and I'll bring them on Monday, or that's the plan anyway. So everybody take care. Until then, enjoy, stay safe, be cool, all that jazz. All right, everybody, peace out. Take care. I'll see you next time.